everyone, and welcome to Mom Scholar Magic, our behind the curtain series where we take 10 minutes to have real conversations with real scholar moms about the journey behind the titles, the publications, and the leadership roles. This space is all about what people don't always see, the balancing, the building, the boundaries, and the motherhood that exists alongside the work. Today, I'm excited to be joined by my good friend, Professor Marella Croom. She is a lecturer at Indiana University, Indianapolis campus, in the Urban Teacher Education Department and the Elementary Education Program. She is an experienced teacher coach dedicated to strengthening elementary math instruction and preparing future teachers for real classroom impact. She is a wife and a mother of two. Welcome, Professor Croom.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so excited for you to be here. You and I are good friends, and I thought you would be a perfect person to come onto the show and share your experience, share your journey, and how you're doing all the things because we are all admiring you from afar. All right, so we're going to Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We're going to jump right in because, as you know, this podcast, this episode is meant to be 10 minutes because we are all busy moms. So I want those who are watching to be able to jump in and watch it real quick, get some tidbits and all the things before they get off on
Absolutely.
their day. So let's go
Absolutely.
ahead and get started.
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. So the first question I have for you is, how has your education and teaching journey shaped you as a mother and an educator?
Well, that's a good question. I think the two are like perfectly aligned. My children are older. I'm 15 and my oldest is about to be 20. And so for most of their young life, I was in the classroom, teaching every day. And so being a classroom teacher and being a mom, I have this unique perspective, right? And so it makes me think about the kind of teacher I want for my children is the kind of teacher that I have to show up as, right? So I'm being, there's more compassion, there's more understanding, there's more grace for my parents because I know what it's like navigating working full time and then going home to children. And so being a mom and an educator just gives me that an added level, another level of grace that I can extend to the people who are in the same role. And then I also have this unique experience because sometimes I am in front of the table, sometimes I'm behind the table, right? And so I'm good on both ends. So when I'm the teacher, talking with the parents, I understand. And when I'm the parent hearing from the teacher, I also understand too. So I just have this very like unique perspective. And now that I've moved to from the classroom to the collegiate level, it's a similar thing because now when I'm with the students in the class, I'm working mostly with undergrads and some graduate students seeing them as young humans navigating adult life in the world and balance and all of this stuff. And so I'm also watching my own child navigate, coming into adulthood. And so it just gives me this perspective that I wouldn't have if I didn't have the privilege of parenting children while also educating someone else's children. So I feel like it's just like this beautiful kind of harmony that works together in my life. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, you and I share a similarity when we have children in college. We're teaching college. We're moms and we're also working with pre-service and teacher candidates and helping them navigate this world of education. So I definitely connect with you with that. And it's so funny because now we're kind of gearing towards the end of the school year. It's almost parent teacher conference time. And we have to go in as a parent, but we kind of have this background knowledge of being a teacher. So
Yeah. It's great. It's really great because it gives us this, this perspective and it helps the teachers that we're working with, but also it just kind of makes us more human, I think, right? We understand what the teachers are dealing with. We understand from the student perspective and that teacher perspective. So I just think that's just like a really unique experience that everyone don't necessarily have.
yes, absolutely. All right. So, next question I have for you is, what is your current focus in math education and why does it matter to you?
This is really important because what I'm seeing, and I teach mostly methods classes for elementary students, and I also have the opportunity to go in when the students get into the student teaching portion to see them in the classroom. And so what I get to see is, are they able to put the skills that we talked about during the coursework in action when they actually get into the classroom? And so what I'm finding is there needs to be more balance, right? More alignment, because research says one thing, but the reality of schooling in American schools doesn't always align to what the research says. So we've been spending time in our math classes talking about giving students an opportunity to tell you what they're thinking, right? You are giving them opportunities to explore different strategies, but then they get into these classroom spaces with curriculums and pacing guides, and they're saying, okay, do this way, and make sure that you're teaching this specific method. And so I am shifting, not completely because the research matters, but I am shifting my coursework so that it better aligns with the reality of what they're going to face, not just in student teaching, but what they're going to face when they actually get into the classroom. And so that's the biggest thing. So this semester, I was able to kind of completely overhaul my courses, which is great because I was given these courses when I started. And so now I'm making them my own so that they are more aligned with what I'm seeing from the students. So that's really the biggest project that I'm working on so far.
Yeah, I love that. I think too that comes a lot from your background as a practitioner, as a teacher in the classroom. We know we have to be flexible, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of times when we're teaching these method courses, because I also teach, the special education courses as well, we have to give them the reality and let them know this is what the theory says, right? This is what, regulation and policy wants us to do, but you do have to navigate the classroom based on the humans that you are serving in that space.
Absolutely. Yep,
Yeah. So,
absolutely. And that's a challenge, right? Because we don't sometimes, and I have the experience as the practitioner, right? Sometimes when you're doing the work in an everyday in the classroom, you're not necessarily thinking about the research. But then when you get to our side now, that's all we're thinking about is the research. It's so blending those two so that they are aligned is the work that we're focused on.
yeah, that we have to do. All right. So, my next question is, I know you have two children.
Yep.
I think about you all the time because you have a college student and you have a high schooler. And I have a college student, two college students, and a high schooler. And it's always this kind of balancing, but you're also a former educator and you were raising smaller children when you were a K-12 educator. So, my question to you, thinking about your life now, but also when they were little children, could you share a system, a boundary, a strategy that supports you in balancing the work that you do and motherhood?
And I don't know necessarily if it's called a strategy, but it's something I learned from when I was in K-12 schools, really is go home, right? And it probably came from just one of my mentors, turn the lights out, go home. And one of the things was it was stay as late as you need to so that you avoid taking the work home. And that has saved me. If I have to stay until 5 o'clock or if I have to stay until 5 or 6 o'clock, but it means that the work gets done at work and then I can go home and that time is dedicated to my children, my husband, and everything that we need to do at the house. And so now at this level where my kids don't need me as much, I still have already built that balance in because while as much as I have to give to my children, as we get older, I'm having to give to myself now. So what does that mean? It means when it's spring break, I take a break. When it's summer vacation, I do work during the summer because, we're not teaching courses and all that stuff. So I'm putting things together, but I also enjoy that time. And so for me, it really comes down to I'm doing the work. And my husband always says this, do the work that your soul must do. So I'm doing that work that brings me joy. But I also understand that if I leave, if I move, if something happens, God forbid, they're going to find someone to replace me and to do the job. Someone else can teach these courses, but I'm irreplaceable to my family, right? They'll never get another me. And so I make that part of my life a priority. And so it means closing my laptop. It means not responding to emails because, students will email you on a Sunday and expect that you'll have an answer for them. But I let them know ahead of time, here's when I'm available. You'll always get a response from me. I'm always going to email you back. I'm always going to get your assignments graded. I'm always going to attend every meeting on time. I'm going to do everything I'm supposed to do. But when it's time for me to clock out, I clock out and my time is focused on the husband I have at home, the child who needs me, even the college student who sometimes is too busy for me at this point, but I'm available when she needs me. And so that's I go home and I close my laptop. That's been my strategy.
That is amazing. Go home. Yes,
Yes,
go
go
home.
home.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that's important too, as you said that to set those boundaries,
Mhm.
not only for yourself, but even for the students that you're trying to serve. Like you have to fill your cup up in order for you to go into that classroom and work with those pre-service teachers and be present and come check on them in the classroom and give them the necessary feedback that they need to get better. You have to pour that into you and your family. So I love that. I'm gonna use that. Go
Go
home.
home. Go home. Turn the lights out, close the door, and go home. I think the important thing too is to think about it's not I'm going home and I'm leaving stuff on the table. It's like the other thing too, and this was another strategy is, and I teach this to the students when they get into block four. So block four, they're student teaching. I tell them to utilize the time that you have in school. Right. So if I'm in my office, which I am now, like if I'm in my office and I know I have 2 hours in my office. I need to spend that 2 hours doing the work that I need to do. So when I close the laptop and I go home, I know that I didn't waste time hanging out in the lounge, talking to this person, doing that. I actually spent my time that I had allotted doing the work
Yes.
versus I'm kind of messing around. Right.
I
So,
believe that too. I believe that about you because we do not know when Professor Croom is in the office. The
right.
door is
It's just,
closed.
I'm shutting the door, I'm getting my work done, and
And
then
you're all the way down the hall
yeah,
where
so I'm
nobody
away
else.
from everything and the
Yes.
noise and all that. And I can look up at my clock. I'm like, okay, I know I need to go get in that car red line. So I'm leaving. So, and then I'm looking, you can't see it, but there's a to-do list in front of me on my whiteboard. And so, there's so much joy in checking things off your to-do list.
Yes.
So I check those things off my to-do list and then I close my laptop and go home. But maximizing my time that I've allotted for work helps me to, be okay with turning turning the lights off, closing the door, shutting my laptop down, and just
Go at
getting
home.
to be home.
Yes.
Right. So yeah.
Go at home. Absolutely. I love that. All right. So the last question that I have for you is what are you building or working on right now that we should be paying attention to?
Well, that's good. And so we recently, a colleague of mine, we attended a conference about university and school partnerships. And so while our university has a really solid partnership that has been in place for years now, prior to either of us being here, there's things that we are working to make better, right? And so we're working on this community school partnership that we are hoping to pilot this upcoming semester, the fall semester. And so right now we're in the data collection phase where we're talking with our current students about how we can make improvements in what we call our block courses. And then we're moving to a summertime retreat where we get more information from all of the stakeholders involved. And then we are looking to pilot phase one of this program this semester in the fall at one particular school just to see how things go and the data we get from that and how we can make improvement. And it goes back to what I said before, which is about alignment. How do we make sure that the work we're doing in these courses, if we are training and preparing the next generation of teachers and we're in these schools already, how are we connecting with the people that we are in the schools with and connecting with each other? Because we teach in a cohort, so it's the same group of teachers, instructors teaching the same group of students. How do we become aligned in the coursework? And how does that connect with what the teachers and the principals and school leaders need in their schools? And so that's what we're working on. It's moving pretty quickly, but we're hoping to have all the pieces in place so that we're ready when the fall semester starts. So we're really excited about that.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
really excited to see
Yeah.
everything that comes from that. I do think that that's important in listening to the voices of the people that you're trying to serve, whether it's the schools, the mentor teachers, our pre-service teachers. A lot of times when we're doing this work, we're looking at research and what has worked in other spaces may not work for the city of Indianapolis, may not work for the surrounding areas. So definitely tapping into those voices is super duper important. All
Absolutely.
right.
All right.
Yes, well, thank you so much, Professor Croom, for coming on the Mom Scholar Magic Behind the Curtains.
I really appreciate it. I'm really proud of the work you are doing. This is great. Thank you for having me. It was a blast.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. Thanks, Tina.
awesome, awesome. All right, so thank you for those who are watching this video. If you are interested in learning more, please make sure that you click the link above or below, depending on where this is posted, and join our Mom Scholar Magic community. All right,
All
have a good day.